Today we're making a bet, and we're not talking about gambling. We're talking about no other than Alphabet Inc., stock ticker GOOGL, which coined their own phrase, other bets, which simply means are Alphabet Inc. owned companies and projects that are not Google and are usually experimental, long-term, high risk, high reward. Also, fun fact, Google is not only owned by Alphabet Inc., it was originally considered a bet that most people wish they would have betted on over 20 years ago, back in 2004. The good news is you can still bet on Google and parent company Alphabet Inc., which has a lot more room to grow. Let's dive right in and explain our valuation proposition regarding Alphabet Inc. We build a 26 company portfolio by utilizing the alphabet letters A, B, C, D through letter Z to select one company per each letter of the alphabet to create a diversified portfolio. Today, we have chosen a worthy addition and other bet to the stock alphabet portfolio letter G for Alphabet Inc. stock ticker GOOGL, traded on the NASDAQ. I will share my Charles Schwab account with you. That way you can follow along as we build our 26 company portfolio. You can use any brokerage firm you feel comfortable with to make your investments. We prefer Charles Schwab. Watch us buy Alphabet Inc. stock and just bought it. Google was founded by no other than Larry Page and Sergey Brin, who founded Google while they were PhD students at Stanford University. Google is vertically integrated, which is Pierce and Bryson's usual style of investment, which is not the determining factor, but definitely a green flag. Google, under its parent company Alphabet Inc., controls multiple stages of its value chain. For example, infrastructure, designs its own data centers and custom chips named TPUs, which simply put means Tensor Processing Unit, which is a specialized application-specific integrated circuit known as ASIC, developed by Google to accelerate machine learning workloads, particularly neural network training and inference. First deployed in 2015, these chips provide faster, more efficient processing for large-scale AI models compared to traditional GPUs, supporting frameworks like TensorFlow, PyTorch, and JAX. Alphabet Inc. owns platforms, to name a few: Android, which I personally have a love and affinity to, Android phones, which typically humans fall into two categories. You're either an Android or an Apple lover. I digress. But Alphabet Inc. owns Google Chrome, Google Search, YouTube, as well as the following services: Gmail, Google Maps, Google Drive, Google Ads, Google Cloud, etc. Alphabet Inc. also owns the distribution of Android, which comes pre-installed on many devices, which offers Alphabet Inc. tight integration with its own services in addition to the hardware for Pixel phones, Nest devices, Chromebooks, etc. This vertical integration allows Google to reduce dependence on third parties, optimize performance and costs, collect and leverage data across services, strengthen its ecosystem and competitive advantage. So while Google still partners with others, Google has dominant control of the supply chain, the value chain, and digital ecosystem. Google's parent company Alphabet Inc. owns many subsidiaries and brands, which include the following: Google Search, Android, Chrome, Gmail, Google Maps, Google Drive, Google Ads, Google Cloud, YouTube, the video platform that you're watching this video on, more than likely, Waymo, self-driving car technology, DeepMind, which is artificial intelligence research, Verily, life sciences and healthcare, Calico, short for California Life Company, is an Alphabet-owned research and development company focused on aging and longevity. Calico's mission is to understand the biology of aging and develop interventions to help people live longer, healthier lives. X, and we're not talking about Twitter, is the innovation lab, which was formerly Google X. They got their start creating this self-driving car. Since then, X has continued to bring sci-fi ideas into reality to help solve some of the world's hardest problems. X is considered the Moonshot Innovation Lab. Wing, which is a drone delivery service, works with companies like Walmart, Walgreens, FedEx Express, DoorDash, in addition, many restaurants and food brands. GV, which is Google Ventures, which is the venture capital arm. Capital G, Growth Equity Investment Fund. Fitbit, wearables and health tracking. Nest, smart home products. Alphabet acts as a holding company, letting Google focus on its core business while funding and managing diverse tech, health, and future-focused ventures. Artificial intelligence is a key component and central to Alphabet's growth strategy and expansion. AI infrastructure and models, massive investments in data centers and computing power to expand AI offerings such as Gemini, used across Search, YouTube, Workspace, and Google Cloud. Custom AI chips named TPUs, as I mentioned before, which Alphabet designs its own AI chips to optimize performance and reduce dependency on third-party hardware. AI products and services integrating generative AI into more products, for example, think Workspace, smart home, devices, targeting enterprise AI solutions. Capital spending on AI and data centers is extremely high and expected to rise significantly through 2026 and so forth. Alphabet Inc. is also invested in autonomous driving with Waymo, self-driving car division, and one of its most prominent future growth bets, expanding robo-taxi services in more U.S. cities and internationally, seeking a large funding rounds to scale operations and commercial deployments. This could eventually create a new transportation revenue stream beyond search and advertising. Alphabet Inc. is also invested in cloud computing, enterprise services. Google Cloud is a key revenue driver with strong growth, growing demand for cloud services, especially AI-powered tools for businesses. Strategic acquisitions like Wiz Cybersecurity aimed at strengthening cloud offerings. Cloud services help diversify beyond advertising and push higher margin enterprise revenue. Alphabet Inc. is interested in infrastructure and energy projects to sustain AI growth. Alphabet is investing in power and data center infrastructure. Acquisition of Intersect Power to secure renewable energy for major data centers. Large investments in U.S. data center campuses, for example, $40 billion in Texas and expansions abroad. Renewable and next-gen energy initiatives like small modular reactors and geothermal for clean 24/7 power to support AI. These efforts aim to control operational costs and enable scalable AI infrastructure. Alphabet's other bets include ventures outside Google's core business that could become big future revenue streams. To name a few, Verily, healthcare and life sciences technologies, Wing, drone delivery services that link to e-commerce and logistics, DeepMind, advanced AI research, including robotics and algorithm optimization, X, as I mentioned before, development projects, moonshot research and development projects such as AI for environmental forecasting and robotics. While still nascent, these areas may generate new markets and technologies beyond core advertising. Alphabet Inc. goal is global expansion and strategic partnerships, as you can see, as I explained, so forth and so forth. To fuel growth beyond the US, Google is setting up large AI hubs internationally, for example, in India and Saudi Arabia, to grow adoption and local infrastructure. That's what I call chess. Checkmate. Strategic investments and partnerships help accelerate AI deployment and cloud services worldwide. In summary, Alphabet is betting heavily on AI and AI infrastructure, which is the largest focus, cloud computing and enterprise products, autonomous vehicles and robotaxi like Waymo, energy and data center infrastructure diversifying into new tech frontiers, and global market expansion. These long-term projects are designed to shift revenue beyond traditional digital advertising into high-growth tech sectors that could define the company's financial trajectory for years to come. And that's what I call chess at its finest, and strategic evolution by Pearson Bryson and by Google. Welcome to Stock Alphabet. And that is one of our main convictions. And that's a lot said, a lot to go over, but that's one of the key reasons we believe heavily and why we invested heavily into stock ticker GOOGL, which gives you voting rights as well. So once you purchase that stock, you'll also have voting rights as well, which is huge to us. So we're buying as much as Google possible, as you saw earlier. Behind me is my wall of conviction on why Pearson Bryson and I, Conrad Lane, invested heavily into stock ticker GOOGL, traded on the NASDAQ. I'm gonna leave a picture of the whiteboard of conviction right there and at the end of the video so that you can scrutinize, go through your own notes and compare. And investment notes, we are not giving you advice. Always do your own due diligence. We are just showing you what hedge funds, investment firms don't show you. We highly recommend you review all publicly traded companies on the Securities and Exchange Commission EDGAR websites, where you can review stock company financial health by reviewing 10K reports, profits, debts, etc. I've listed the EDGAR tool website and other financial reports and records in this video description section for your review. Thank you for staying till the end. Feel free to like, subscribe, and share if you found any value to this video so that we can share the portfolio with you, others, and the world. Ciao.